welcome back to another Calling Time book review with me. If you're new here, welcome. This is Marty and I talk a lot about life and literature in this channel. So if you are interested in those stuff, please consider subscribing and let's talk about life and literature. In today's video, we will be talking about A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik.
I don't know what they were planning to do with me. None of them had ever deliberately hurt so much as a fly. But I guess the fit was a really alarming one. They argued it over a bit, and then, all of a sudden, the whole...
This is set in a magical school, so I thought I might as well show you a glimpse of a day in my life in school while I do the book review. Because of our current pandemic situation, we are required to report to school only once a week and do the other tasks in a work-from-home setup. So when I come to school, I maximize my time by doing as much as I can. At isa sa mga regular na ginagawa namin in school ay sorting out modules or learning kits that would be distributed on the following week in our respective schedules. So after kong magklase ng 2 oras sa araw na yon, pumunta na ako dun sa sorting center namin para mag-sort out ng mga modules. No, it's not as easy as it sounds because we have to make sure that each learning kit of each student is complete, from the learning plan for that week to the modules to the answer sheets and other paraphernalia included in the learning kit. We have to make sure that they are complete. It's a tedious task, but it's repetitive, so we get used to it. For today though, I don't have a webinar to attend to, so after sorting those learning kits, I checked as many submitted modules as I can before I log out for the day. And again, these checking, sorting activities are repetitive chores for me, so I multitask by reading through audiobook while doing them. So here's that montage and I'll now proceed to the book review. A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik follows the story of Galadriel, or Elle for short, as she battles her way to graduation from Scholomance. It is a magical school that has no teachers and full of monsters whose students are enrolled to either die or learn how to use magic spells and wield their affinities to survive until graduation. The story took place for 1 school year, so we got to know a lot about the school grounds, the magic system, and the monsters in it. That's when the fun ends though. If some books invest in the development of the characters, and there are some that invest on the plot, this book is neither of those. The characters were not as explored as they could have been. That's understandable though, because we follow the story from the first person point of view of Elle, and while she couldn't have known what they could have been thinking under what motive. However, even Elle is a vague character for me, and she lacks that development. Given that we saw how she first started in school as a freshman, and where she now stands as a 4th-year student, I still have a vague image of her. I don't know if it's in the narration's problem in telling more than showing, or it is just my poor comprehension. From what I understand though, Elle is a victim of bullying and discrimination because of her unlikely power or affinity for mass destruction. Her affinity for mass destruction feels like Vanya Hargreaves from The Umbrella Academy, if you're familiar with that comics. And because of that, nobody would like to be friends with her. That's where I relate with her though. People around her won't join her or talk to her for the majority of her life in school because they thought that she has a rough communication skills and a difficult attitude to go with. On the outside, Elle learned how to live with herself in a world where you can never live alone, because then you will be more vulnerable to monsters, but it is eating her inside. She rejoiced in her solitude, but she couldn't help but to feel lonely sometimes. That's when Orion comes in. Orion is the school's hero, for he saves everybody in the school. Well, he doesn't have to, but he does. And he took special interest in saving Elle, which leads everybody to think that he has something for her and that they are an item. That budding romance kept some YA feel in this book, although from what I heard, this is an adult fantasy. I ship Orion and Elle until that ending happened, which leads me to my next point. The plot. The plot is almost non-existent. If push comes to shove, I would consider this novel under literary nonsense together with Alice in Wonderland. And that's because there is no main arc going on. It just follows Elle and Orion and the other students' adventure. It's like a linear plot with no climax. We're just following their adventures and their survival stories as the pages go on. Even the graduation part that the students dreaded the most and only lasted for few minutes in audiobook. I listened times 2 speed, so it took fewer minutes to finish the most awaited fight scenes and epic graduation scene. It ended though after that graduation almost abruptly, and I was left with more questions than answers. So it definitely didn't invest in the plot development either. If one thing, I think this book invested so much in the world building, the setting, and the magic system. Scholomance as a magic school setting is one of the coolest academy for magic. It's even cooler than Hogwarts. I even tweeted about how I enjoy my time while listening to Elle's narration of the school grounds and the school monsters. The school is infested of so much school monsters. School of monsters. School of mons. Scholomance. Oh, that only occurred to me just now. It's a school of monsters. So it's called Scholomance. Scholomance. It has more monsters than teachers and students combined. Maybe it was mentioned in the story and I just missed it, but that's a cool play of words. But going back, the world building is superb and the info dump on the magic system, I don't mind because I love magic that has cost and not just for the convenience of the characters. In most of RPGs or role-playing games that I play, I usually choose a mage type character. So I am already familiar with how mana works, and I am so happy to read about my fellow mages in an academy. I agree with other people saying that this is like Hogwarts. Yes, it is. It's like a dark Hogwarts without Professor Dumbledore's wisdom, or Professor Snape's bitter but helpful potion making guidance, or even Hagrid's undivided loyalty and protection. The students are left on their own to use their library, laboratories, and other facilities of the school to equip themselves. Their end goal career to either join an enclave as professional mages in the real world or to just survive until graduation like Elle. This book invested in so much world building and it has done well, albeit minimizing plot and character development. It has a lot of missed potentials though, like that part where the Scholomance is supposedly an international school for mages, so it has student mages from all over the world. This could have been a strong selling point to showcase the various mages of different races, including the main protagonist, Elle, who is actually a half Hindi. This could have been a great showcase of that diversity, of showing how different mages interact. It could have been a great convention. However, it felt so lacking. It felt as if Novik whitewashed all the rich, diverse cultural representations gone. Well, not to mention the racist remarks on some of the characters' roots. As much as I would like to rave about this book because I am a huge fantasy reader and a mage for that matter, I gave this book a 3-star rating because I am still giving it a chance to pick up its plot for its 2 other installments. Well, that's enough ranting from me today. If you felt the same underwhelming feeling after reading this book, hit that like button so I'll know I'm not alone in this hole. But if you think otherwise, or if I missed some points in this book review, let's discuss in the comment section. Thank you for watching and remember to read more, know more, and be more. Happy reading!